Wow, now you can see how the world can come up with a real lousy uh, view of our wonderful, glorious God just because people that call themselves Christians and say they serve this rich God that has a cattle on 1,000 hills, but refuses to sell any of them to be able to help a waitress that is struggling to pay her bills. That's a Scrooge if I've ever seen one. That's not the God I serve. This is why Jesus said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against that church, because that's the real church. Now, just within the last year, now I'm up in the north. I was in the north for this. That was in the south. Quickly, listen to this. I was invited after church to go to a restaurant with some people that I really wasn't anxious to go with for this purpose. We went into the restaurant. I knew the waitress. I'd led the waitress to the Lord at another restaurant a couple of years before. She was anxious to come and see what we had at this church where I was at. We went in, and these people started immediately finding fault with the menu. After finding fault with the menu, I asked them, please, let's order. I've got to go and I have to go. As they ordered, they were picking apart different things and trying to mix and match. It got the waitress frustrated. She was trying to go to another table. Finally, they ordered. When they ordered, I saw them eating and then complaining, well, this is too cold. Can you warm this up? And they had the poor girl going back and forth and back and forth. I was getting so frustrated. Then they turn around and they're bickering on how much the tip should be. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord. When I got up, I didn't know what to do. As I'm going out, the waitress pulls me aside and she said, listen, Pastor Jim, I know one thing. You're not part of them. Thank you. And I went out and I was able to bless her. All right, and I went out and I knew for a fact the same effect had been on this lady. They don't like Sundays because Sundays are connected with people that call themselves Christians that serve a Scrooge. My God is not a Scrooge. Now, if you are let's move out of waitress, okay? Let's move over into a whole area of pastors, leaders of ministries that are looking for a top quality speaker, worship leader, whatever, you name it, and trying to get them, first of all, to volunteer. Now, we're talking about people coming full-time into what we call full-time ministry. We're all in full-time ministry. If you are a pastor, if you are a leader looking to find somebody that will work for less, work cheap, volunteer, then you are serving a Scrooge God, because that's not the God I serve. My God wants to pay top dollar for everything. Picture what you're doing in their mind. What you're doing in their mind is saying, our God is the richest person in the face of the earth. Why? He's a creator God. He speaks things into existence. He tells us all the secrets. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, shall men pour into your bosom. He tells all of the attributes of giving, 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 giving. We turn around and we reverse that whole thing and say, but we don't have the money. Well, then who are you serving? You're not serving the God that I serve, because the God I serve has got all the money. He speaks it into existence, and he tells us, get rid of it as fast as you can so I can give you more and more to give more and more. My God is wealthy. So don't go telling everybody in the world that your God is so wealthy, but he's not going to give any of it to you. He's going to look for you to volunteer and work these things out yourself. That's a Scrooge God. I don't serve that God. I want I'm hoping that some leaders and pastors don't hope I die soon here, so I get this message away from everybody, because this is going to upset a bunch of people. But this is what the Lord is showing me. You are giving everybody a terrible image of who I am. I am not a king that is in rags. I'm not out begging. I pay top dollar for every person that comes to me. Why? Because I want you to give it away, and I can give you more and more, and people will say, I want to serve that king. That king is wealthy. Now, I want to throw this quick thing in here. If Donald Trump If his son comes into a restaurant and he's bragging about how rich his dad is and that he's driving a Lamborghini and he's out front and everything, and he leaves you a 50-cent tip, what are you going to say about him and his whole outlook and his dad? If your dad is so rich, he's a multi-billionaire, and you can only come up with 50 cents for me, I don't even want to know you. You're a liar. Get out of here. That's how stingy you are. That's in the natural. Now, if our God can't outdo a Donald Trump that's a human being, all right, then our God is not worth serving. I'm sorry. I serve a God that will bless. So if you're looking to expand a ministry, if you're looking to grow, forget this whole idea of trying to find volunteers, trying to get the money down cheap. Find out how much that you can outdo the world, because the kingdom of darkness is going to pay big time. I'm going to tell you, they're stealing people all the time that want to be part of the kingdom, but they can't live that way because you have an attitude, or people have an attitude of a Scrooge God. Now, here's one other little thing I want my daughter to share. First was my granddaughter, now my daughter, and then we're going to end with what it should look like. This is what it should look like coming up in just one moment, all right?